Boys and girls. Hello? Yeah. Anyway, well, let's welcome our president, past president, acting president, Andrew. As you know, Sabrina is undergoing treatment for her illness, but she seems to be in good spirits.
Yes.
That's not actually
Thank you.
Can you get me some water? Or you, I don't know if they're going to call me, so can you get me some water?
Got a couple of
Is there?
visitors
okay, forget it, I'll get it.
So welcome.
No, there's some. I didn't see it.
I was making comments before that must stop having dinner and breakfast with a number of our members today. And we'll welcome our guest speaker formally in a minute. Are there any apologies for tonight?
Judy and Jeff.
I think Judy and Jeff, obviously Sabrina, we caught up in the comments her health situation.
Peter still away in Switzerland.
Yeah, Peter's overseas.
I don't know whether we accept that apology.
It doesn't sound like an apology.
Doesn't
Yeah.
Switzerland this time.
Yes, Switzerland.
Any other apologies?
I wonder how he feels about being in Switzerland. If it's kind of neutral, or
Have to ask
he
him.
probably feels neutral about it.
Easy done. Welcome tonight. We've got an excellent guest speaker later on. But before we hear from Matthew, I thought I'd ask our guest from Lightsview to say a few words. Just to put you on the spot.
Yeah, it's okay.
She's prepared.
Hello, everyone. You'll have to forgive me from reading from a script. I think I left my brain at home this morning. But
Your name?
Stephanie. You can call me Steph, though. We're friends. Good evening, and thank you, everyone, for your kind welcome. It's nice to be back here, having spoken here once and visited as area governor on numerous occasions. I'm just glad tonight is a bit cooler and I'm not dressed as a duck this time. You'll be thankful.
No, Richard didn't recognise you.
A few people have said that, yeah. It's a pleasure to be here tonight representing the Rotary Club, Provisional Rotary Club of Lightsview, along with Liz, our Vice President. Woo, woo, woo. We're very grateful for the support of the Rotary Club of Morialta over the past couple of months, in particular through Acting President Andrew and Deputy Governor Damien. It's been an interesting journey, and I thought I'd take this opportunity to go through a little bit of the history of the club so that everyone here is aware of how it developed and where it is at the moment. It's been an interesting journey, and in 2017, that's when it started, Damien identified a significant gap for Rotary in the district of 9500. This was drawn to their attention. However, the Rotary Club of Regency Park explored establishing a satellite club, but it was not approved by the club to continue to pursue due to the burden it might put on the club and the concern about whether it would actually be a viable option. In 2020, with the merger of the two districts, it again came on Damien's radar as District Youth Service Chair, as many schools in the area were going unsupported by Rotary, given their lack of proximity to any Rotary club. These schools were redistributed to surrounding clubs so that there was a level of engagement with Rotary. Representations were made at the time by this club about the challenge in supporting schools such a distance from the club's key location. In 2021, Damien approached the Rotary Club of Campbelltown as membership director to see whether there was an appetite to explore establishing a Rotary Club in the area. There was limited broader support, and he put it on the back burner once again.
Thank you for putting that on there for me.
Until June 2022, I started looking at leaving Campbelltown due to a misalignment of values. Campbelltown had multiple members who had left or were looking to leave, and they lived in the Lightsview Oakton area. Alyssa advised that she was keen to be involved in developing a new club and would be comfortable being the charter president. So we kicked off. In July, Damien and I met with District Governor Paul and District Membership Chair Danielle to discuss the process, and we also established a Facebook page. Damien and I distributed over 400 flyers to businesses in the area, encouraging attendance. This page, the Facebook page, also received over 100,000 views, and we held an interest meeting in August with approximately 40 people in attendance. The club has met fortnightly since then, establishing a draft constitution and bylaws, which has recently received informal approval from Rotary International. We also held a successful Halloween event in November as our first community event. Recently, the starting president, Alyssa Moran, resigned due to competing interests, and I have stepped in as president. At the moment, we have 14 people who have signed up as charter members, and we're scoping out projects for the coming 12 months. A lot of our time recently has been addressing some of the informal agreements entered into by the previous president, and some challenging membership issues. However, I believe we're back on track and ready to start progressing the club again. We aim to be a new style club, meeting fortnightly with our primary focus being projects. Our current average age is 33. And the prospective membership is overwhelmingly female.
Okay.
If this club charters, it will be only the third active club chartered since your club chartered, the Rotary Club of Midfield Sunrise, in 1998.
Wow.
I think this is a milestone of which you should be very proud. As area governor, I've been pleased to be involved in the establishment of this club. Rotary International and our zone, covering Australia, New Zealand and the Pacific Islands, has recognised that the growth in Rotary is in fact through the formation of new clubs. One of the challenges clubs have is to create multi-generational clubs, which allows everyone from 90 to 19 to feel respected and comfortable. Unfortunately, this being done successfully is few and far between, which means that clubs grow elderly together and eventually hand back their charter. I'm seeing this in our district with numerous clubs at the moment struggling to continue. I'm proud to say that your club, through sponsoring Lightsview, has seen a way to continue your legacy, not just through the good work of your own club, but through investing your time, money and experience in developing the new club. We hope that we're able to help your club as much as you help us, and look forward to working with you in all kinds of projects in the future. Thanks, Andrew.
No problems. I know we're trying to make sure that we get a number of members to attend Lightsview Club. It's important. I know Emiko and Peter have attended. I think Bruno and Jeff attended the last meeting, and Damien and I have attended a couple, so we want to keep that up. And certainly, Liz and Steph, if there's anything we can do at any time to help out, you know where we are. The board was very, very supportive of the proposal when it came through the last meeting, and I think, as we previously told the club, we gave a bit of seed funding to help get things going. So we're very keen to help out where we can. Just quickly, are there any director reports that want to say anything that's ultra important? Is there anything else, Tim, next week perhaps?
In Adol's absence, and we've got a board meeting next Tuesday, so there's a fair bit happening. And as we know, I've just noticed that Graham's here, and he's got probably a few things to talk about as well. But just from the last meeting, there was a couple of the board and members were advised that we made a couple of very quick donations. One to the Turkey project, which was done pretty much immediately. So thank you to members for that, for supporting that initiative. And also to a Ukraine project that we're running within the district. And we've put that donation through the system as well, which is to our own project here in South Australia. So I just sort of mention that we've got a board meeting next week. Graham, have you got anything that you want to raise tonight? Oh, next week, just the other thing, next week's meeting is a special meeting for in recognition of Bob Pomeroy's service to the club. So if Andrew and I were discussing this last night. If there's any member who wants to say a few words next week, I'll be calling on people to say words, but we obviously don't want to run over time. I've got 2 or 3 members lined up already. to say a few words, just a few words would be great. Anne's coming, and could be her daughter as well, and a couple of friends, hopefully, of Bob's, some long-standing friends. I've spoken to Anne. So yeah, if we can spread the word, it'll be a good meeting next week, a reflection on Rotary through Bob's eyes, and you know, it'd be great if you could support that meeting.
Tim, could you might inform our guests who Bob was?
Our guest. Oh yeah, Bob Pomeroy has been a member of. He unfortunately passed away 2 weeks ago, and so he didn't have a funeral. That was his choice, and yeah, members wanted to, you know, we wanted to reflect back on Bob's service in Rotary, which is possibly about 20 years service, and he's done, you know, lots of things within Rotary, including presidency. So yeah, it's a good opportunity to reflect back on the good things that Bob did.
He was also active in the community workshop. You know the turkey thing?
Yes.
The club donated how much? But I think club members added a bit.
They did. It was 3,000 from the club, from our own resources, and another 2,200 from members, which was fantastic. So it was $5,250.
Right.
And 3,000 for the Ukraine project. So, you know, it's great that we're able to do these sorts of things. These make a big difference. Make a big difference to people on the ground in Turkey and in Ukraine. So, you know, don't forget that, guys. Those hours and hours we spend out there, you know, raising money does actually matter. Yeah.
While we were spending money, I think we also agreed, or I agreed to, on Graham's request, to purchase a number of tables to replace the tables that most of you might have seen at the dance festival that, in my opinion, were a bit dirty, crummy, and probably seen a bit better days. So I think a nice refresh.
And weigh a ton.
Sorry?
And weigh a ton.
And weigh a ton, so if we can get some...
Oh, the old ones do?
Yeah. So I think if we get something a bit easier lift, yeah, having moved them all from the front house onto the pavilion at Thornton Park, I know how heavy they are.
Yes.
Excuse me, Mr. President. Don't sell them short. We've got 20 that we want to give to the Rotary Club of Life.
Their average age is 33, so they're a bit more healthy. It's bigger than us.
You're still going to the gym, aren't you?
That's a serious offer, by the way.
I'd like to say, acting President Bruno's, they better be quick.
Yeah.
Because I've had quite a few offers already to take them off their hands locally. So scout groups.
So if you would like some tables, but
$50 a pop, that's good.
Yeah.
I already took the offer of free, sorry.
Well said.
So how many would you like?
10?
Oh, that's a lot. How many?
No, that would be
That's
about
on 60 people.
So I know what I've got left. I need to know.
Are you happy? We have nowhere to store them, so they would still stay with you. That's the problem.
I was hoping to get rid of them all, so I can put the new ones
We
in.
can just borrow your new ones.
That's true.
That'll cost you. No, look, I'll tentatively question mark 10, let us know.
Okay.
All right.
How many other totally, Graham?
Yeah, 30.
37?
So you get rid of
30
20.
plus some mothballs.
Yeah.
But the offer might be that we can use ours, as
Yeah.
this is our
Exactly.
storage
Like,
place.
let's say if everyone takes some around, then you have to borrow the others.
Yeah, might be better to let them go.
Yeah.
And they can borrow ours, then Graham doesn't have the storage.
That's what I'm thinking.
Why don't we just get rid of the 30, yes.
Yeah.
Get rid of all of
Just
them.
realise that no one else goes up to the shed and unlocks the shed and gets them out and puts them away and puts the trailers
Yes.
away again. All right, just remember that.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
I certainly do. Just on the fact of fundraising and purchasing new tables, etc. Last Friday night at the Moonlight Markets, an amazing effort from everybody who attended. The barbecue and the kiosks total about $3,100.
Wow.
Plus the kiosk on the weekend as well, so it was a big weekend for us. And the 10 people, or about 15 all total, I think, worked their tails off. People got there early, people worked through the system, people stayed late, helped pack up. So it was a great effort. There is movies in the park on Friday the 18th. So we're just looking for another team to run the barbecue and kiosk. It's not going to be as busy as the Moonlight Markets, because they usually only get a couple of hundred people there, but the barbecue is...
Are the council running the food trucks that weekend too?
So we've been requested to do it, yeah, and looking at another one on the 14th of April, that's a request through the council.
Did you say Friday the 18th or Friday the 17th?
April. 8th of March.
18th of March, yeah.
And the 14th of April.
Okay.
So I'll be looking for names just to help on a roster basis for a few hours. It's not as busy, as I said, as the Moonlight Markets. It's only a short period of time as well.
Turns out to be wrong.
Unfortunately, like yourself, Brenton, I won't be able to make the 18th.
Yeah, I know.
Given it's the first home game, and probably the same for the 14th of April.
What time do the
Being
meetings
the
usually
gathering.
end? About 9 or 8 or
7:30.
Really? Wow.
We finish the meeting and then people eat at 7:30.
Oh, okay.
7:30.
How the hell do we know when they
How long were you asked to speak?
Just 20 minutes.
Yeah.
The first and third Wednesday of every month. Yeah.
Now that should be published. Get a keep it rolling.
We will, and just talking before the meeting, April and I were talking about that we'll try and gear up a day in April that we can have a joint meeting. So
Can you put me on your
So we'll
mailing
organise
list?
that.
Maybe I can drop by one here.
As Director of Comms Services, do you have anything quickly?
Only to let you know that plans are pretty well set for our opening on 26th of April, after that day. The workshop is working very hard to fit out the extension, but also let the club know that we'll be drawing on some of those funds that we have in the kitty for the workshop that were connected a long time ago, in order to buy materials to line the workshop. We weren't lucky to get them free, and how much does that work?
Wednesday, $1,500.
About $1,500 as well within the amount of money we have set aside. There is one grant out, there's another grant application which is out there in the ether, and there will be another application for a grant coming up before April. We weren't successful with the last two grant applications, but we've got to be happy with the ones we've got at 50,000, so haven't done too badly. All right. Thank you very much. I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, Matt McQuinley.
Is that tonight?
That's tonight. Matt,
That's you.
Damn.
please come up.
Okay.
And let's enjoy your visage, as the French would say. I first met Matt through
The woman of your dreams.
through the woman of my dreams, through Hua, and at a gathering at someone's house where there were a lot of Chinese ladies, many of whom married to Australian or Anglo men, including American men. So Matt has a Chinese wife, and a gorgeous boy.
That's true. I do make beautiful children.
You do, Matt.
I told my wife I get all the credit because I gave her the ingredients. All she did was cook.
Yeah, that would be right, Matt. Matt was kind enough to invite Judy Brown and myself for a segment on his radio program, his Radio Uno Italia, and he was great as an interviewer, and the way that went. We do have a record of it, and I've circulated it before, but you're very welcome to, if you want to hear it again, let me know and I'll send you the link. But we were talking essentially about volunteerism, and we had focused on these aid to mothers and babies, but because that was topical and current for our club. My project was relevant, but only in the past. But the things behind it are the same. Matt is a public speaker, the radio talk show host, and a business consultant and a coach, and a stand-up comedian. And as you know, he just said a father, and remember he's responsible for the prime ingredients in that. I'll quote you on that.
Absolutely.
He's been nationally ranked athlete and has a history of service to his nation. He was in the military in the United States and service to his community. In his career path and over time, he's gained a wonderful understanding of people, their motivations, their points of view, and has a large and greatly varied number of interests. I'm not sure how eclectic they are, but I suspect they are. And these interests enable him to establish a rapport with people from all backgrounds, races, religions, and walks of life. He's trained and worked with thousands of people, and of all creeds and orientations and so forth. He's built 3 successful businesses in his career, and he's built them from scratch. So he had the idea, made a plan and executed it, and that was in retail and manufacturing. He's owned a business, his own business or a master distributorship since 1989. In 32 years, his business interests have cut across 3 continents, which is pretty good. And his first role out of university was as sales representative, and then he had various roles as field sales manager, assistant office manager, plant sales manager, branch manager, district manager, division manager, and finally national sales manager. So you can see his career pathway has been upwards, and that wouldn't have happened without his particular characteristics, I'm sure. And some of these companies were very big, with turnovers of 100 million or more. And that was all by the age of 28. He has overcome significant adversity. Maybe he'll talk to us about what he means by that in both his business and professional life, which has given him the drive and the ability to overcome almost any obstacle that life has to throw up, as well as the ability to inspire and motivate others to do the same. Obviously, he has a strong work ethic, which allows him to tackle and solve most problems from multiple angles at the same time, which is good. Wide-angle lens and perspective on various things. He understands that his work results are a reflection of
Bruno,
himself.
can you speak into the microphone?
Yeah, sorry. He understands that his work results is a reflection on himself and his family and country. He's focused on success and results regardless of the reward, and he's focused and driven almost to a fault. He believes that issues are never more important than relationships, except in matters of integrity or honesty. He's passionate about trying to tying people into a vision, as well as motivating and empowering them to be the best they could possibly be. In short, he's a builder of organisations and, more importantly, people. I'll give you Matt.
Thank you very much, Bruno. I think I'm on already, and I'm loud enough anyway. I'm American. So after that introduction, I'm reminded of the old joke where the guy goes out on a date with a gal, and he's sitting down with her, and he's talking about, I was a football star, and I was so great in high school, and I make so much money, and I've got a Lamborghini, on and on and on for an hour, and finally he goes, but that's enough about me. Now you tell me why you like me. So thanks for that, Bruno. But my name's Matt McQuinley. I'm a business coach, consultant. I also do a radio show and some public speaking. And actually, I just realized after listening to the first part of your meeting that I'm preaching to the converted. So I'm not even sure if this message is going to be as great as I would hope, because it's all about this. It's all about, you've heard the saying that it ain't over till the fat lady sings. I'm allowed to say that, being big-boned myself. Okay, so actually I told my grandma once I was big-boned, and no, she called me big-boned. That's what happened. And I said, Grandma, I thought about it for a second. I said, Grandma, how did I get all these bones in my stomach. I don't know. But anyway, it ain't over till the fat lady sings. But I prefer, and if you'll forgive my Americanism, I prefer the great saying from the great baseball player and coach Yogi Berra, who said, "It ain't over till it's over." Okay? And I want to talk I'm going to talk very briefly about myself. I'm supposed to, because I'm American, I'm supposed to be conceited, so I don't want to let you down, okay? But no, the only reason I'm telling you this is because I want you to know that I'm practicing what I preach, so hopefully you'll pay more attention. Okay, that's my evil master plan and why I'm doing this. But in my own case, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about me, but I had asthma until I was 15 years old, where I could not take PE. Oh. I started swimming at 16. By 17, I went to nationals in swimming, okay? They said I had a learning disability, yet I graduated top of my class in high school, well, at the top of my class, not number one, but at the top, in high school and university. I was broke. My family was, we're videoing this, so I'm hoping it won't get back to them, but my family was poor white trash, okay? My parents dropped out of high school to have me, okay? My grandmother, on both sides of the family, were actually born in log cabins, believe it or not, okay? So after I left university, I was about $140,000 in debt. That's Australian dollars adjusted for inflation. Then I got to a point where I was well off. Then I got broke again. I was rich at 32. By 37, I was $2.7 million behind. Okay? I had identity theft to the tune of $2 million as well on top of that. I built a factory by the age of 42. I had my first child. Remember, it ain't over till it's over at 48. Okay? And I'm hoping my next one will be an easier delivery. No, just kidding. But I was just thinking when I said that, I look pregnant, but I'm not. And I sold my business at 50, and I'm in a position where I don't have to work anymore, so I get to do the radio, some volunteer work, stand up, and talk to great people like you guys. Okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is I do believe it ain't over until it's over. Okay? So I want to tell you a story I read years and years ago. This guy, at the age of 5, his father passed away. Okay? At the age, he had to take care of his brothers and his younger siblings. And at the age of 9, his mother remarried. Well, his stepdad died at 10. Okay? Then she remarried at 12. Well, oh, I forgot. He got a job as a farmhand. Okay? Because, you know, most kids get a job at 10 nowadays, right? So at age 12, his mother remarried. And he had a bad, super bad relationship with his stepfather. So at age 13, he dropped out of grade 7. Okay? And he got a job. Well, he got fired. Okay? So at 14, he moved again, moved out of his parents' house again, and he got another job as a farmhand. He got fired again. Okay? Then he got a job at 16 as a train conductor. And at 16, he decided, I don't like this train conducting thing. So he faked his birth certificate to enlist in the Army. Well, at 17, they ran him out of the Army, and he got a job. He left that 2 months later because he didn't like it. So then he moved again, and he got a job as a fire stoker, the guy that actually shovels coal into the engine of the train. He got fired again. Actually, I should say that like Forrest Gump. He got fired again. Okay? By age 19, he was married with 3 kids, and he started studying law by correspondence. Okay? So he moved again. He got another job as a fire stoker again. And guess what? He got fired again. Okay? He practiced law for 3 years. All right? Until he got in a fight with his own client in the courtroom, a fist fight. And he got disbarred. Okay? Then he and his wife and kids had to move back with his mom. Always a good way to build yourself up when you're a man, right? At age 26, he got a job at an insurance company, and I think we can guess where this is going. He got fired. Okay? Then, at 30, he opened up a ferry boat company. And at 32, he got a job with the Chamber of Commerce. Well, he did that for a while. He found out he wasn't any good at it, so he quit because he just wasn't good at it. Okay? Before he could get fired, he quit. So he sold his ferry boat company. He put money into the business making lamps. Guess what? It went under. So he moved again, as he would, and he got a job with the Michelin Tire Company. And of course, he got fired. Okay? At age 34, he ran a service station. By the age of 40, it closed. It went out of business. And then he got moved again, and he was offered to run a station for free as a part owner. He didn't have to put any money in. He just had to do everything and give a percentage to the real owner. Well, that went pretty well for a while until he decided to have a gunfight with a competitor. Okay, as you do. It was over a sign, the placement of a sign. So he had a gunfight with a competitor. They have this gunfight, and he gets missed. He doesn't get shot, luckily. But the other guy that's shooting at him kills an innocent bystander, so he goes to jail. And that's how he got rid of his competitor. I mean, it's not the recommended method, but that's how it worked. So and at 49, his restaurant, he ran the restaurant, gas station, hotel for a while that he was in charge of. And at 49, it burnt to the ground. Well, he rebuilt the whole thing. But at 51, he went out of business. Okay? Then he got a job running cafeterias for the government. He did that for a while. At age 57, he got divorced. I can't believe she stayed married to this guy that long. But at 59, he remarried. At 62, he tried to open another restaurant as a franchise, but all he had to offer was a recipe. He went to 1,009 restaurants that rejected him, but 1,010 said yes. So he ran that restaurant for about 3 years until they redirected the highway around his restaurant and he went under. Again. So now he's 65 years old and all he has to his name is his government pension, which is $105 a month. Okay? So he drives around the country in his old beat-up car trying to sell this recipe, trying to convince people to franchise. Well, by 72, he gets a patent for it. And at 73, Colonel Sanders sells it for $2 million, which is $16.7 million in today's money, US, which would be, I guess, around 30 million Australian. In 2013, the company had 18,000 locations in 118 countries. It ain't over till it's over. It ain't over till it's over. I'll tell you another quick story. Death Valley. It's not called Death Valley because it's pleasant. No. It's one of the most inhospitable places on Earth. Okay? In fact, NASA does research there as an analog for life in extreme environments to try to figure out what life would be like on other planets because it's so harsh. Here's a couple guys pointing out the weather. It's a balmy 55 degrees. Okay? Which, even if you say it's a dry heat, it's hot. Okay? But you can't see that, guys, in the way it says, but the name of that visitor center is called Furnace Creek. They call the creek the furnace even. Okay, heat kills. Here's a little sign. It says drink plenty of water, avoid hiking in the heat, like I guess 40s when it's not hot there. It's beautiful though. There's another sign of the extreme heat danger. There's actually, I guess that's a bull that couldn't read, so he didn't hydrate properly. But anyway, moving on. They do a marathon, an ultrathon there. It's called the Badwater Ultrathon. It starts at the lowest point in the United States in Death Valley. Okay? They run to the highest point in the continental US, the lower 48, which is called Mount Whitney. It's 135 miles long, or in kilometers, about 217. Okay, which is why most of us have a car. All right? Where it ends at 2,500 feet approximately, 2,500 meters approximately, above sea level, you're getting about 29% less oxygen than you do at sea level. Okay? Last year, 2022, a 66-year-old woman did it. I forgot to mention, she did go through 3 pairs of shoes in the race because they melted. She went through 3 pairs of shoes that melted. But it was only 50 Celsius that day, as opposed to the 55 that it usually gets to. So she had it lucky. Last year, a 77-year-old man did it. 250 kilometers. Okay? But all his friends gave him a hard time, Mr. Bob Becker, because when he was 70, you know, they felt he wasn't really making an effort, because when he was 70, he did what's called the Badwater Double. So you run your approximate, 217 kilometers, then you get to the foot of Mount Whitney. Well, you get to sleep for the night. Then you wake up in the morning, you climb 11 miles up Mount Whitney, where that is about 2,500 feet, I believe, above where they start using, pilots start using oxygen masks to avoid hypoxia. Okay? And, I'm doing great with this.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Most people aren't as dumb as they look, but apparently I am. Okay. So apparently 135 miles isn't enough, so he's got to wear an oxygen mask. Then he runs down the 11 miles, and then what do? You run the 135 miles, or 217 kilometers, back. Yeah. For a round trip of about, again, with 3 buttons, you'd think I'd figure this out quicker. I think it's less than 500 kilometers, but it's pretty close. So, what's the point of this? The point is, it ain't over till it's over. That's the point. I don't know if you're sold, so I'm going to give you one more. Thomas Edison. We've all heard about Thomas Edison, right? He had 10,000 efforts on find the little filament of the light bulb, which was tungsten, and he had 1,069 patents, which is actually the real number. I looked it up. But did you know that at age 67, his entire workshop factory, which was 13 buildings, burnt completely to the ground? Completely to the ground. Okay, because back then, you guys remember the old film? They used to call it gun cotton, and it burned really quick. He was only covered for about, and it cost about, at the time, it cost about $2 million. In today's dollars, about 60 million US, or about 100 million Australian. He was only covered for 238 grand, about a tenth of it. So, how did Edison respond as he literally is watching his entire life's work burn up? Well, as the story goes, he's with his son, and he's watching literally, like I said, his entire life's work burn up, and he says, "Son, go get your mother and all her friends. They're never going to see a fire this big." And of course, his son goes, "Huh?" And Thomas Edison notices his son's looking at him like he's crazy, and he says, "Oh, don't worry about it, son. We're just burning up a bunch of rubbish." New York Times is there because you can see this fire for miles and miles and miles around. He's quoted that night as saying, "I'm 67 years old, and tomorrow I will start again." Now, I'm a leader, have been a leader in the past, okay? You guys have been leaders, okay? So you put a brave face on when you're the leader. So you think, he's just putting on a brave face. Well, what happens next? Well, how does he respond? Well, the next morning he gets up at 5:30 in the morning. He's all excited. He wakes up. He goes downstairs. He's talking to the family because they haven't been to sleep because they're just a wreck. And he goes, "Oh, this is wonderful. All our bad ideas are gone. We can start all over again." And runs out. 2 days later, what does he do? He invents a flashlight that can help him, and there I go again, that can help him see through the smoke, because when the firemen were trying to look around to put out the fire, they couldn't see, so he goes, "Gosh, those guys need a better flashlight." So he invented one in the next 2 days. 3 weeks later, all his staff are back to work in different locations. The fire was in December 1914. The year 1915, 10 million US dollars in revenue, which is about 417 million Australian dollars today. He kind of bounced back a little bit. Okay? Why? Because he understands it ain't over till it's over. One more, because I can still tell some of you aren't sold. Okay? The Brooklyn Bridge. Okay? The Brooklyn Bridge is a suspension bridge that connects Brooklyn and Manhattan. Okay? When it was built at the time, they were told it was impossible to build it until a German immigrant named John Roebling came in and he said, I can build it. There was all these reasons why he couldn't build it. They said, first of all, the technology for suspension bridges wasn't fully developed. Second of all, the ground wasn't solid enough. Also, it would have been 50% longer than any other bridge, suspension bridge made at the time. And there were all kinds of other reasons. But anyway, John Roebling knew he could do it, so he convinced the bankers and the politicians, sorry about that, okay, the bankers and the politicians to finance the project and let him do it. So after a few months, unfortunately, there was a workplace accident, okay? He got his foot crushed between a pillar and a ferry. And eventually, they had to amputate. And usually, as it happens when you amputate back then in the 1800s, tetanus set in and he died. So his son had to take over, okay? His son took over. Unfortunately, they had to sink these huge pillars into the ground, into the water, and his son got the bends, or decompression sickness. So now his son is paralyzed, can't walk, can't talk, can't move. All right? So so it seems like this is all over.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Excuse me. Andrew, it seems that the meals are early. Isn't it half past?
I can just stop here if you want.
No, you've got your...
No, what it just means that you might have to talk over the meals or something.
Are you saying I have to be louder?
No.
I'm kidding. That was a joke.
Meals are coming out.
If you look like me, you make jokes.
Sorry. Did you have calamari?
Me, I had calamari.
The beef carving?
Sorry, Matthew, what happens
That's okay. No problem.
is they'll bring him in a bit at a time, you just wait a moment.
Yeah. That's cool.
Won't be a minute.
Most Rotary meetings, we listen to our speakers while he eats.
That's okay.
No intention to be rude.
Nah. Dude, if this is the worst thing that happened in my life, I'd have led a blessed existence.
Chicken scissors with gravy.
And a crumbs fish.
Oh, by the way, Matt, how old was Colonel Sanders when he died?
I don't remember.
92.
Was he?
So the bugger was an engineer from 76 to 92.
Well, anyway, so he's completely paralyzed and he's unable to speak. So it doesn't seem like this bridge is ever going to get built. Seems like there's no chance. Because he can't speak. The Roeblings were the only ones that knew how to do it. But it ain't over till it's over. So he was Roebling was still able to, Washington Roebling was still able to move one of his small fingers. So his wife and he developed a code where he tapped on his wife's arm to give instructions to finish this bridge. For 13 years, he tapped on her arm. She relayed his instructions to the workers, to the politicians, to everybody else to finish this bridge. When the Brooklyn Bridge was finished, it was dubbed the 8th wonder of the world. It was the largest structure in the Western Hemisphere for decades. And because it connected Manhattan and Brooklyn, this is the reason why New York became the city we know today. All the other little towns were able to coalesce, and New York City, as we know it today, was born. On September 11th, 2001, the bridge carried hundreds of thousands of people across in vehicles, things it was never intended to do without a problem. 150 years after it began, 138 years after it was finished, it still stands as a testament to the Roeblings family's willpower.
So we've got a pie, chicken salads, and chicken burger. Chicken burger.
Why? Because guess what? It ain't over till it's over. Maury, At 51, while a professor, he started his own real estate company. 26 years later, he's the richest person on earth. It ain't over till it's over. Nelson Mandela, 27 years in prison, released at age 72. 4 years later, president of South Africa until the age of 81. Why? Because it ain't over till it's over. Laura Ingalls Wilder, 65 when she wrote Little House on the Prairie. She finished the last one at 78. Why? Because it ain't over till it's over. Grandma Moses was 78 when she started painting. She created 1,500 pieces by her death at 101. Her painting Sugaring Off sold for $2 million in 2013 from memory, which she did at 99 years of age. Why? Because it ain't over till it's over. Joseph A. Campbell was 78 when he came up with the idea for condensed soup. Why? Because it ain't over till it's over. Ben Franklin was 81 when he helped write the Constitution of the United States of America. Why? Because it ain't over till it's over. Gladys Burrell had polio as a child, didn't become active until she was in her 40s. Then she became a pilot. Then she climbed Mount Hood. Then she hiked the desert. At 86, she ran her first marathon. She did her last marathon at 96. Why? Because it ain't over till it's over. This fella here did his first marathon at 89. At 100, he finished the Toronto Marathon. Why? I think you see a pattern. No? It ain't over till it's over. George Bernard Shaw was 94 when he wrote an award-winning play. What do you think's next? What do you think's next, Melvin? It ain't over till it's over. Okay? Oliver Wendell Holmes Sr. said, many people die with their music still in them. It's often misquoted. They say it's from Walden, but it's not. Okay? And what he reminds me is there's two kinds of people in the world. They're the kind of people that are going to give up. They're going to give up before they even begin. They're going to think it's over. They're going to make excuses, say they're too old, they're too poor, they don't have the ability, they don't have the background, they don't have the connections. And then there's the kind of person who is not going to take those excuses. There's the kind of person that's going to be successful regardless. There's the kind of person that's going to fight to the very end. There's the kind of person that's going to succeed regardless of the obstacle, whether it's age, health, finances, whatever. My question to all of you today is, which one are you? That's it.
Matthew, that was stirring rendition. It's a great. Sorry, let's go again. He couldn't agree with me more about that pages and number, and nothing's impossible. It's only more or less easy. Most people say it's more or less difficult. Do we have any questions, please?
Did you say, Matt, Richard, did you say you came to Australia in 89?
No, 1996.
96?
Yeah, on and off, yeah.
There must have been something that prompted you to...
I got transferred here to set up operations for an American company. I built that up to 31 locations. Then I left that. Then I started my own business, built that up to 13 locations. Then I started the factory overseas. Then I sold that, and then I came here to talk to you.
How long have you been at the radio station? What was the process of starting that show?
I was a guest, and they thought I was really good, so they gave me a show because I was better than the host. I don't mean to be arrogant, but it's true. And yeah, the show that we do is called Change the World. And we focus on people that are trying to make a positive difference. That's why I asked Bruno to be involved, because I know that Rotarians have the reputation, well deserved, of people that are trying to make things better. So we were able to bring him and yeah. And we got to talk about the great stuff we did in East Timor and New Guinea, Papua New Guinea.
Rotary Club being formed, and they are going to the Lightsview. Stephanie's their president-elect, and they're going to be going out into the community, needing some